Marketing is about values. It's complicated and noisy world, and we are not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is. So we have to be really clear about what we want to know about us. Steve Jobs, Apple. Good morning to all. I am Anna from the virtual event team of Passionate in Marketing. With great joy and immense delight, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all present here for the event organized by Passionate in Marketing on the theme Digital Marketing in Changing Times, powered by Maxid. Passionate in Marketing is one of India's fastest growing marketing and advertising news publishing platforms for the marketing community. The platform has to its credit more than 25,000 articles and stories of more than 200 brands in the area of marketing, advertising, branding, sales and distribution, digital marketing, and so on. It has emerged as a preferred media publishing partner of top brands and PR agencies in India. It enjoys more than a lakh monthly impressions. Maxit consists of a group of management and technology experts with a passion for research, consulting, and training, and around 20 plus years of experience in varied domains like management, education, telecom and IT, financial services, media, online learning, and so on. Let us begin the most awaited sessions of the day. A super generalist who is sought after educated by entrepreneurs, startups, ecosystems, and corporations for building value in the digital economy. Mr. Krishna Kumar is the co-founder and CEO of Green Pepper since 2007. He works with leadership teams of organizations to give extreme business value through digital transformation, talent hiring, and business model innovation. A super generalist consulting professional who worked with 300 client companies in 15 years on mission critical business areas. He is an advisor to CXOs and entrepreneurs and also a mentor to startups in edtech, neobanking, and the talent marketplaces. Sir, it's indeed a great pleasure to have you here. Welcoming Mr. Krishna Kumar. Sir, could you please unmute?
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for the kind introduction, and good morning to everyone. Let me start with this session. We have only have 25 minutes, and maybe we're going to be learning something about creative storytelling, and I'm sure that each one of you listening to many stories every day. The reason why storytelling has become the most important part of marketing nowadays. People try to sell through facts, people try to sell through logic, but ultimately what our brain is looking for is emotions, stories, and things which move their mind. So giving you an example, like I heard a story recently which kind of made me think a lot. Like when the World War II was happening, the US has decided to bomb some of the cities in Japan, and they have created a list of cities they need to bomb. And the Secretary of War actually created the list, and finally from the list, a particular city was removed. The city's name is Kyoto. The reason the city was removed, why? Because the Secretary of War had a very fine story, a fine travel experience, a delightful vacation in that particular city a couple of years ago before the war. And he removed that city from this particular list of cities to be bombed by US in Japan, and that was considered to be one of the reasons why he was actually removed from the position later also. Now the point is, when you have an experience about something which is special, which is delightful, which is something which created memories in you, which moved you, which made you think, which made you feel better, that is exactly what you call as a story. So every experience is converted as a story in your mind. When you go to Goa for 4 days, That 4 day becomes a story in your mind later after the travel. And you probably may tell your friends, hey, I went there, I did that, I did this. So every experience is converted into a story, and how those stories influence others to pursue the same experience which we had, right? The reason why when we go to a place and come back and we tell the stories to people, they want to go back, they want to go there and see whether they can seek the same experience you had. So if you had a very nice experience in a pub in Bangalore and you tell your friend that, hey, that was nice, that evening was very good, or you put up the pictures on Instagram saying that this place is pretty cool and you know it's a great time for a party, that becomes a mimetic experience. So humans are very, very mimetic. They want to really mimic others' experiences. The reason why social media is enabling that mimetic experience. So if you open your Instagram and Facebook, or for that matter, YouTube, you would find similar people like you, your friends probably, or people whom you know, or acquaintances, going through experiences which are quite nice. You want to experience that as well. So that is called the mimetic experience. And that mimetic experiences become stories in your mind, ultimately becoming a marketing point of view. So travel, food, movies, entertainment, for that matter, apparel, you name any category of B2C human experience, you would find this particular thing that you want to see whether somebody else is doing it, somebody who like me, somebody like-minded, somebody who is in a similar financial position, or for that matter, aspiring to be that financial position, is doing that, making it all the more interesting for marketers to learn storytelling more, right? The storytelling is essential. Most of the marketers, especially when I work with B2B companies, so I mostly work with B2B enterprises. B2C is an area where you can tell a lot of stories, but of late, I think most of the leaders have started thinking how to convert their personal experiences into stories, because LinkedIn has, kind of thrown open a lot of opportunities for individuals, B2B leaders, thought leaders, all to come and, convert their personal experiences into stories, uh, which can convert stories become leads. So basically, every story has a potential to become a lead. A lead is what a marketer is always excited about. The two things what marketers are excited about is like building the brand and generating the lead. So the moment you tell a story, you build trust. You build confidence amongst the people who heard the story. You connect with the audience. You make them feel that they're part of the whole story, right? They relate to the story. They have a similar experience. They find you more vulnerable. They find you more trustworthy, right? There are many reasons why most of the leaders have started telling stories, not of others, but about themselves. So um, I'm sure that each one of you are watching stories, reading stories, possibly also following stories of marketing brands. So a lot of people are excited about the marketing brand stories, and I'll tell you how this works. So there is a solopreneur who collected old stuff from his neighborhood, like things which people dispose, for no money, right? They don't need money. There's not even scrap value, like old doors and stuff like that. So he collected that. He collected hundred of such items, and all of the neighborhood people gave it free because it is more of like you know a donation. He converted each object, each broken object, each disposed unused item into a story, and he put it on. He created an e-commerce site. So if there is a broken doll, he created a story for that. He said this doll was used by a 4-year-old girl who lived in Ontario, who later moved to Oklahoma, right? So the reason is they create a story around that small object which was abandoned. And finally, he sold all the 100, objects of which was disposed for almost $4,000. Now, where did this value come from? The value of the objects were like zero, almost zero, right? Equal to zero. And then after creating the stories, it was sold for, I mean, the whole 100 objects were sold for almost $4,000. Where is this price coming from? Where is the value? So the value is not on the object. The value is on the story. If you notice, most of the NFTs which are sold right now, I mean, some of you might be following that Web3 NFT crypto stuff. Um, I don't recommend any of it, but I would say if you follow NFTs, all NFTs are stories. Recently, one of my friend in Bangalore is a chartered accountant, started a Web3 platform. He announced something very, very weird. He said, you can gift other people on their birthdays 10 acres of land in moon. And he created something called a lunatic Web3. So this is the way people are selling stories. And he almost got almost $6,000 of immediately when he announced it, it got subscribers $6,000 of land, which he never owned. It's all stories. So you might think, is story fake? Are stories meant to fool others? Are stories meant to uh, use the vulnerability of other people for making them buy your products? It depends on how the marketer is using it. The marketers have different possibilities. Marketers can probably inspire people to use the story in such a way that they get inspired by it and they buy it. Sometimes stories can be used to manipulate also. The human brain is so vulnerable that you can manipulate this with any kind of ideas, insights, and stories. Some people manipulate with statistics, some people manipulate with stories. But marketers have an immense responsibility, because ultimately, when you tell a story, remember that the audience would come back. Sometimes some of them will go back to your backstory, try to trace it, try to find out what is there, in real with you. So storytelling has to be very clear, because in a world where people can search more and more about you, you cannot probably do things which may come back later as a disadvantage for you, right? Recently, Amazon Prime did something very interesting. When they release series, right? So, for example, Family Man, right? There is a big series which happened in Amazon Prime, and the series season one was like celebrated well. So, what they do is to make the season two much, much better. Um, they have a particular strategy to look at how the season one was watched by the audience, to understand the dull moments in the season, to understand the peak moments in the season, to understand what actually hooked the audience to the next episode. Right? So they created this audience analytics and then came up with a very interesting, visualization of where all the dull moments were and where all the story really picked up and where all the peak moments were really celebrated by people. What was the wow moments? Everything. So they created a map of dull moments, peak moments, wow moments, moments which hook people to go to the next episode. And then they shared this with, the script writers, to look at every episode as one film. And so the script writers were able to come up with intense bursts of energy in every 5 minutes. So if you really look at the season two of most of the Amazon Prime, you would find that there is intense bursts of energy in not in 40 minutes, in every 6 to 7 minutes, because they know the attention span of the people have become much lesser, and the stories have to be told in 7 minute outbursts. So there should be like a high in 7 minutes, every 7 minutes. Same thing which Rajamouli uses in his scripting techniques also. So this is all audience centric storytelling. They know that emotionally we are scattered, we are distracted. To get your attention, you need to give them the high every 7 minutes. This is one of the storytelling principles which probably all of us as marketers can actually be aware of, because to create such stories are difficult, but we need to be aware about how the attention span is reducing. And the reason why Instagram Reels have become such popular, because of this format of 30 seconds to 90-second format, where you can tell a story in 90 seconds, you can create an impression in 30 seconds, you can make someone heroic in 30 seconds, you can look a brand so attractive in 30 seconds. It's all about making that intense, compelling stories in 30 seconds. Earlier it took so much time, right? So the reason why an ordinary vegetable in your vegetable store can be sold 3x at price if you're putting the farmer's family's picture out there. So there was an experiment which happened. Like, many people buy vegetables by a lot of negotiation, right? So you have to negotiate because you don't see anyone there. The moment you see a family producing that vegetable produce on the picture of on the cover of this particular vegetable produce, you would find that, okay, when I buy this family is going to get it. Immediately our mind changes, our negotiation is different. You try to look at the product, you would look at where is this product coming from, where is the source. I'm going to be kind of doing something good for the family if I'm buying this. Immediately the sharp negotiator becomes an empathetic buyer, right? This is the power of storytelling. And how do we convert that? So I've seen in Kerala, um, there are some amazing stories, definitely, but most of the marketers feel that when we try to tell a story, uh, will it work, or will it uh, you know become too much, right? Or for that matter, will this story be taken differently by the audience? So I think the inner critic of the marketer here is working so well. The inner critic is so critical that the marketer is not attempting or daring to tell that story, right? So there is no daring attempt by marketers, especially this part of the region, to do that. Now, how do you become daring in telling a story, right? The only way to become daring to telling a story is that you should be ready to be vulnerable. If you notice in LinkedIn, so most of you are kind of very active users of LinkedIn, and you would find people who engage most with their audience are not the people who share statistics or insights, or for that matter, um, facts. They're people who are vulnerable, people who are putting out their story out there, sharing their failures, sharing the risks they've taken, sharing those uh, flaws, right? They're very human in that way, right? So stories have to be told in such a way that we are not just professionals, we are humans, and that image helps us to connect with people. So essentially, storytelling is all about being human, right, and not being so professional. Yesterday I got a call, and this call was regarding coming up with a campaign for a fragrance experience. And they said that they want to have people using this, user stories. So there are different ways marketers can actually come up with stories. It could be user stories, customer journeys, right? So when I say customer journeys, it's about the point of view videos of customers. It could be even about employees, right? So many organizations are now trying to look at their employees as um, demonstrating their commitment to the society. I mean, so if employees are happy, then you get better service, you commit to better product building, right? So you use employees as stories to share with the world that we are a company who cares. And this care and empathy is converted into goodwill with the audience, with the community, and that gets converted into something like you know, a better brand perception, right? Now, people say, don't tell, right? So, for example, when a candidate applies for a job, right, that is also a storytelling experience, because he's marketing himself, he's trying to sell himself. Many people talk about sharing a resume, or saying that I did that, I did this. Instead, it would be great to show a portfolio. So whenever I go, I tell them like, there is no more resume, there is only portfolio. And portfolio is the social, it's a real proof of work which you have done in real, right? So you have done uh, 10 blogs, it's a portfolio. If you have done a video, it's a portfolio. If you have spoken in events and if you have recordings of that, it's a portfolio. If you have written an ebook, it's a portfolio. So you're talking about creating proof of work, which is much more important than, hey, saying that I've done that, I've done this, right? So creating stories is also about showing proof in a better way. The other way is like new script writers, especially marketing script writers, they try 3 4 different stories. And then there is something called A/B testing, right? You test each story with each audience and then try to gather, feedback. And this feedback can actually help them to refine the story, create a better character pitch, try to create a better plot, try to establish the character as fast as possible, or making that final 10 seconds much more moving, or converting that into a better experience to the audience, right? So script writing for marketers, video makers, even for that matter, even the description writers of Instagram, they A/B tested. So there are, like, most of the marketers work with 3 4 WhatsApp groups, and they would say, hey, how do you feel about this? And then the people would say, hey, I feel this could have been improved. This character could have established much better. So you need constant real time feedback from audience, and that is what you call as A/B testing of stories. So you need to have stories A/B tested, because as a writer, as a creative person, probably you might miss out on certain things which others can easily notice. You would have overlooked certain factors which others can actually point out and say, hey, why don't you try this, right? So as a marketer, as a storyteller, we have always have to work with people, have to be humble, ask feedback. The reason why it is all about a constant iteration, right? So you have to iterate it constantly to come up with the right refined product. So Marvel Studios have got a format for all of their movies. It's called the hero's journey. So if you look at your copywriting, your landing page, your video explainers, or Instagram, Facebook, if you follow this method of storytelling, that is going to really work most of the time. And it's a very simple model. It's not a very complex model with a lot of layers. So if you try to creatively complicate the whole story, then it might not reach many of them. But sometimes it may reach people, and sometimes people say, "Wow, what a genius work!" Right? But the point here is not to create genius work. The point here is to connect with people, right? So the hero's journey format really, really connects with people. It is all about the hero starting the journey. And when he starts the journey, and most importantly, the hero should be from a normal background, right? A hero can't come from a rich family. A hero can't come from a extremely privileged background. Hero comes from a very normal, if possible, from a humble background, right? That also makes the whole hero uh, easily vulnerable to everyone. So he's an empathetic guy. So if you really look at all the stories right now, KGF to RRR to everyone, they all come from very humble backgrounds. And this guy is facing conflicts. When he tries to achieve something, when he has a purpose, he has a vision, and then on the way to the vision, he, faces conflicts. And he goes through that conflicts, he fails. So he can't succeed immediately. He fails, he fails a couple of times, and the audience really empathizes with him. The audience really want him to win, right? And then he figures out how to play the game. He changes his strategy. He changes the way he looks at the whole thing. He becomes an enlightened individual and comes back and solves this conflict, right? In between, he goes to the dip, he goes to the extreme low of what he could actually experience, and then he comes back, solve that problem, right? So this is like a, a clear format of storytelling for most of the Marvel stories. And even now, for example, startups telling explainer videos, right? For example, a customer is facing this problem. This is a big problem, and right now we have a solution. and the customer was facing a lot of difficulty because of that problem. He found out certain alternatives, but it didn't work. But finally, we came here, and here is a solution which we offered. Customer started, using our product. That's how he solved that problem. So there is a problem he want he had the conflict in solving that problem. A solution arrived, or possibly he found out a solution, and he's happy later. So this is a very, very clear model of storytelling, which is easily relatable, easily understandable to everyone. Now, creatively, if you really look at it, it's a very simplistic model. But if you really look at, if in 30 seconds, if you want to convey something, that could be a um, go-to kind of a strategy to do. Most of us, if you look at in social media, we have seen behind the scenes as a very interesting strategy. If you're building a product, if you're building a startup, if you're building a business in a hard way, you have to share the behind the scenes with people. The reason why behind the scenes might be quite messy, behind the scenes might not be glamorous, but people love to see that. The reason is um, we are showing the real side of things to them. We are being open with them. We are vulnerable, and that's a story. So BTS, like my son says, BTS is a very interesting way of sharing your story with people. Everyone has a story right now because most of the leaders are working on to look at themselves, look at their conflicts, look at their experiences deeply, and try to see if I can tell a story. And your stories are that what people would finally recognize you as. Sometimes your identity as an individual, as a professional, as a marketer is shaped by all the stories you have had, right? So I would stop here and then look at some questions. It'd be nice to have some practical, real questions from each one of you, and then we can take some 10 minutes to do that. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you so much for the enlightening session. Now we can have the Q&A session.
Sure.
If anybody has any questions, I request you to please raise your hand. I think we have a first question. Atira, could you please unmute?
Hello, sir. Good morning. I'm Athira.
Good morning. Good morning, Athira.
Sir, my question is, are there any online tools that can guide you in creating any powerful story ideas?
Oh, definitely. So if you're looking at to create a story idea, the best online tool would be, I mean, to be frank, would be a notepad first, and then to go for platforms like possibly Miro, Miro. So why Miro? Like if you're creating the story individually, it is always good to put together all your thoughts in a simple notepad, because um, the process of storytelling has to be very unique for each individual, right? Some people, when they travel, they get ideas. Some people, when they brainstorm with the marketers, when with the stakeholders, they get ideas, right? Some people get ideas when they, sleep, because subconsciously we are developing stories. So there are different sources of story generation, and it's very important for you to note it down in the words which you would most relate to when you read it later. So sometimes when you note certain, put some words into those thoughts in a notepad, you may not understand what you actually thought, 10 days later. So you should clearly mention, hey, this is exactly the plot, this is a thought which I had. And there is another way of doing it also, where a platform like Otter, like have probably would have heard it, where you can actually talk to the phone and convert it into textual, text. So I use Otter, but mostly I love writing, so I kind of use Notepad. But if you don't like the idea of writing a lot, then but you're good at speaking it out, then Otter app would be helpful, because it would convert your speech into text very simple. Third thing would be Miro. Miro is a whiteboarding tool, which in fact is part of the Google Meet also right now. They have bought Miro. Um, you can use it and collaborate with other people to create stories. So there is a storytelling template there also. And there are other templates also in Miro which would be useful for generating a story. Like for example, customer journey, right? A story of, for example, if you want to tell a story for a Paytm, you have to know how Paytm works, how people use that, what are the extreme use cases of Paytm, right? What are the most interesting use cases of Paytm, right? How people emotionalize that particular app. So it's not just a payment or sending, receiving payment. It's also about an emotion, right? It's about money. It's about relationships. About many more things, right? So these are some tools which come in my mind now. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other question? Yes, we have Ibni. Ibni, could you please unmute?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Myself, Ibani. How can I develop storytelling skills? Are there any specific course for the attending that?
Yes, there are many short courses, to help you to start with writing stories. But I would recommend you to convert your daily experiences into stories, because if you have had a eventful day, or if you've had a day outside, or so one example I'll tell you. Now, whenever I attend a session like this, okay, I attend sessions also. So while attending the sessions, I make it a point that if I get 9 insights from one session, I would try to note it down. Right? Sometimes, even from the most boring sessions, you may get a lot of insights, because the delivery might be boring, but the content is interesting, right? So you look at the session with a curious mind of how do I extract, how do I generate insights out of this, and try to note that. Similarly, if you look at your day, like journal writing can actually help you to start with story writing skills as well. Because the moment you start looking at your day in a different way, so for example, you sleep at 11, okay? You by 10:30 take your notepad and then look at your day like another person. It is not you, it is another person looking at your day, and say, hey, this is interesting. I started in the morning like this, and somebody called me, and then it led me to, do this research. And after the research, I did this. So there is a storyline for your day, which you start putting it on a journal, would make you feel that how to perceive experiences, and then write down or document in a notepad or a journal for that matter. But I'm sure that you would be able to find out enough of YouTube resources as well, because I've seen marketing video storytelling is the word which like most of the people use for building stories. So journaling is one. Secondly, there are you can start with some YouTube, watching before you go to a proper. There is a website called Domestika. I don't know whether we heard about it. Domestic is a website which teaches creative skills, and they have some amazing creative storytelling uh, courses also. You can check it out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ibani. Just a question, since you said you are a writer yourself, and I do write a little bit, not much. But then the thing is that even if we have a lot of emotions or thoughts in our mind, it is very hard to pen them down. And I've been struggling with this thing for a long time. And I have written a few, but then I just feel that it's not up to the mark. Is there anything that we can do, like to use the right word? I just don't know where to use the right word, or is it the right word to use? What would other people perceive from reading my work? So all these thoughts kind of, pushes into not writing it instead of making us write it. These pushes down, and it makes us lose our confidence in writing. So is there anything about that you would like to say?
Absolutely, I think you answered your own question. Um, the inner critic in us is constantly telling us that the work is not good enough, right? Because ultimately, when you write the story, you always feel, how would other people see this? How would other people perceive this? um, the reason why most of the writers start writing for themselves, not for others. Okay, so if you write for yourself, writing should be more like a therapy, right? It should act like a um, it should heal you in some way. It should help you in expressing your thoughts. Sometimes, I mean, average day, 80,000 thoughts go through your mind. 80,000. Okay, it's a even for people who don't think. Okay, I'm talking about a normal being, not an overthinker, a normal person. Imagine an overthinker, it would be crazy, right? So thousands of thoughts going into it, and you want to pick up some thoughts out of 80,000 thoughts. Okay, let's see. You want to pick up some thoughts and say, I want to form some clarity around these thoughts, and I want to try writing it. So always use the word attempt. So you don't have to feel so pressurized by the whole thing of writing. So you can say this is an attempt. The reason why the best creators in the world, right, filmmakers or anybody, after they make huge films, they would say this is an attempt. They wouldn't say that it's a great film I made, with fantastic set of people. They would say this is an attempt, right? So the word attempt will change the way you look at the whole project, because anybody can attempt, right? Anybody can try. So you don't have to force yourself to feel kind of a pressure on your shoulders on to write this. That is one small suggestion which I have right now. Maybe it's a unique thing for you, but I'm sure that you don't have to. Um, so every draft which you make can't be the final one. Okay, that is one. Every draft is uh, probably a beginning of another draft. So what I do, when I started writing was I write 100 words a day, even if I have no mood to write. Okay, I have absolutely no mood to write. I don't think my ideas are good, but I make sure that I write 100 words a day, either in Twitter or in my notepad or in Google Doc, right? So what happens is 100 words will act like a trigger to write the next one. And so every draft is an early draft to the next one. So that's a process, and every writer has a different process. I'm sure that uh, we don't have to wait for the right moment to write it, nor you have to show it to anyone immediately, or to share it with anyone. What you have to do is to constantly do it. And sometimes if you really like some portion of what you wrote, you can pick up that small portion, get the juice of it, and then share with people. You don't have to share the entire draft, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very good session and it was very nice hearing from you. Moving on. Next up, we have Ms. Najina Vijayan, co-founder and CEO, Imtel Brand Consultants, Imtel Technologies Private Limited. Ms. Najina Vijayan is a marketing and communication specialist. After completing her master's in journalism, she started off her stint as a copywriter and eventually donned many roles, including head of Marcom, knowledge manager, strategic marketer, and so on. She has contributed significantly to consolidating marketing communication divisions of EY, Middle East Service Center, Flytex, Financial Software and Services, and Vodafone. Ms. Najina set up Imtel in 2015, and Imtel provides multimedia content creation and multi-channel marketing solutions to clients. Clintel includes Asthmaticity, Cochin Cancer Research Center, KSFE Pravasi Chitti, Government of Kerala, K-Disc, Indian Medical Association, Flytex, FSS, IREL, etc. Today, she will share her insights on content marketing gained from experience with clients in various verticals. Ma'am, could you please unmute? Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello. Am I
Yes, ma'am.
audible?
Now you. Yes, ma'am. Now you're audible.
Thanks a lot, Anna. And special thanks to Krishna Kumar. It was a beautiful session, and that half covers my content marketing session also, because as he said, storytelling is most important, and content is the king in marketing. But that said, if content is a king, then content marketing is a kingdom. So though we cover 50% of content marketing with the storytelling, there's a lot of other things which we have to do for selling the content. So I'll be focusing more on that. And I'm using the help of a few slides to give you a better perspective. So can I do the slide sharing, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Slides visible?
No, ma'am.
No,
Just a second. No, ma'am.
not visible. One sec. Yeah. What about now?
It's blank, ma'am.
Is it visible?
No, ma'am, it's blank.
It's blank. It shows your sharing screen. Share. Just allow me a minute.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it
It's
visible
visible
now?
now. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is.
So I just want to tell a little bit about what we have been doing. So I set up Imtel in 2015, and we've been majorly focusing on content creation and content marketing. And one of the challenges we often face is the misconception in the mind of our clients that content creation is same as content marketing. So mostly, there are a lot of digital agencies who claim that they are good at marketing, but they may not have a strong content creation team. And if some may start up a digital agency with the support of a few designers, copywriters, and video makers, but they wouldn't have a separate content marketing team. So in my experience, one sec. Sorry. Okay, so in my experience, it is a lack of ability to distinguish between content creation and content marketing that leads to the failure of most of the strategies. Like most of our clients, I focus a lot on health marketing. So as to Mid-City and, I was working with Cancer Research Center. So they all have very inspiring video stories, real time, like Krishna said. It is like live stories of patients who have recovered and amazing comeback of the patients, which would would otherwise move you so emotionally, and they park it in different YouTube and Instagram, etc. So one of the most common comments which we keep hearing is that whenever we take charge of this, they'll say that, okay, we have a lot of YouTube videos or like social media content, but then nobody else knows about them. So only those people who created content would be viewing that. It will not be reaching the intended audience. So that is what we try to address through content marketing. So like first, before creating content itself, we need to really do our groundwork on what is the purpose of the content and who they are intended to, how much budget the company is ready to spend, etc. So these are some, basic stages of content marketing. First, content research and planning, wherein you have to first decide on what is the key messaging you want to put out to the audience. So that will be different from the storytelling, because, for example, Aster, if we are talking about, patient experience, that is the key message they want to convey to the audience. So in case of Aster, they keep talking about patient experience, and then they also talk about the support they give to the patient caretakers. Then, of course, like, various treatment and doctors, etc., who are there at the Aster. So when we do this, before we create content, we kind of have a briefing format with the help of which we try to collect basic data and information from various stakeholders. In case of Aster, it will be like the CEO, and even some inputs may come from the chairman and from the doctors, support service departments, etc. So we have a mechanism to take input from each of these stakeholders, and trying to understand, like, key messaging will come from the top management. And then towards that, we will collect insights and inputs from different stakeholders like doctors, nurses, and patients who have recovered, etc. And then we will try to understand who's our audience. So for example, is it the patients or the caretaker, or the children of the patients or parents of children, etc. So once we decide on that, then we do audience profiling, and where are they available, where are these audience spending most of their time, etc. Only after finalization of all those details, we'll get into this very tough stage of budget planning, because this is something which client try to pass on to the marketer, and marketer will try to push it back. So initially, I used to fall into this trap. The client will say that, okay, I have 1 lakh budget, and within this 1 lakh, I have to plan my content, and also I have to plan my marketing spend, which means I have to pay to Google, Facebook, etc. And you should be very well knowing that Facebook and Google will charge based on the keyword popularity and other factors. And normally, it is very now these days they're charging really high, and sometimes because there's a lot of competition among digital marketers, they'll say that, okay, somebody is willing to do at 50,000 and all that, and we may fall into that trap and agree to do it at a very less rate. And then when we start this process, we really struggle creating the results. Only then we understand this importance of budget planning. So these days, what I do is that I tell outright to the clients that budget is to be decided by the client. I have nothing to do with their budget. I'll be only telling them that what I can deliver and how much I can deliver for the budget they have earmarked for this digital marketing or marketing as a whole. Then we once we get this the audience and the messaging, etc., then also the budget, we can move on to the content creation. Because, for example, if you have very less budget, you cannot hire people like Krishna Kumar. You'll have to go to amateur storytellers and try to slog along with them to come out with decent content. And we have to set this expectation to the client that it is not going to be the top-notch content, but with this budget, we'll be able to come out only with this decent content. And then once we decide on such, such aspects, then we need to decide how to make most out of this content. So there, this content dissemination becomes very important. And content dissemination, we need to have a proper plan of content scheduling and where to publish our content, etc. Also, the thumbnails and keywords, etc., will become very important. That is not done by storytellers. That is the role of the marketer to decide how to develop a reel, or what thumbnail has to appear by on the YouTube video, and what would be the relevant keywords, etc., which we can do with there are a lot of tools which are available. Some of them are free tools and some paid. So you have to really dedicate yourself into this phase of content research and planning, budget, before you step into this content creation stage. And then, of course, analysis and strategy revision. So I always tell people that if content creators are batsmen, the content marketers are like coaches. So we need to keep on monitoring from stage one and even post publishing. We have to keep on reviewing, monitoring, making changes, etc. That is where Krishna Kumar had briefly mentioned about A/B testing. So we need to keep various types of content handy. So if one format of content is not picking up, you have to push the other options. So a person, a marketer has to keep on doing this in a very committed manner. So I've been lucky, I started off as a copywriter in an ad agency, and I was into marketing communication as a writer with various places. And then eventually, the companies are very smart. They try to make you a writer come marketer, and you also enjoy because you're getting exposure and learning exposure to various jobs. But then all the time, you might not be very good at both these aspects, because content marketing needs a lot of analytic skills. And, though I tried to do all these multiple activities, somewhere along the line, I realized that my forte is content creation and strategy, not so much content marketing. And I had a brief opportunity to work with co-founder of Imera, Praveen Vijay. So our combination really worked because I was a content creator, and Praveen was a content strategist plus analyst. So only then I realized the importance of seeing these two aspects very differently and distinctly. Then Prashomar explained it so beautifully. Content marketing is all about establishing a connect. Earlier, we used to have a lot of made-up content by people who can write or make movies, etc. But now, each and every individual is becoming content creators. Now you have a lot of publishing platforms like YouTube, Insta, etc. So you just need your mobile, or you need to jot down anything, so that becomes content. So how much ever beautiful and unique you can make your content, that much traction the content will get. So when talking from a perspective of social media, when you write the content, the other person reading it or viewing it should feel that it has been specifically written for me, or they should be able to connect with what you're showing them, or what you're writing for them in multiple ways. So there's always a debate on how much content to make. So while it is very important to create like very compelling content, I would focus more on quality of the content than the quantity. Like when you go to, that's the difference between digital marketer and content creator. When you take up a digital marketing course, or if you join an agency, there'll be a lot of pressure on you to create a lot of content. But in my personal experience, what I have understood is that instead of creating 100 articles or blog articles, or 10 videos in a day, in a month, it will be good to focus on developing maybe 10 articles and 2 or 3 good inspiring videos, and then planning how to promote and market it. Okay, this you should all be very familiar. We have 2 types of client, and Krishnamurthy was saying that he mainly works with B2B. B2B is business to business, and B2C is business to consumers. So there's a lot of difference between behavior aspects in B2B world and B2C world. So B2C, we are dealing with ordinary people with a lot of dreams and aspirations. So when you sell anything on B2C, it should be based on stories. You should be selling your dreams and aspirations, etc. When it comes to B2B, it will be mostly ROI driven, logic driven, and it has to be linked to your sales targets, and it has to be something that will reflect thought leadership and influence the top decision makers to consider your product. So there's a lot of difference in approaching B2B and B2C content. It's like a very vast topic, and I took almost 2 to 3 years under Praveen to really understand the difference and tune my content making to suit these audiences. So probably, maybe it will take a very different session itself to go in depth into it, but there are a lot of resources available on the net for you to really understand the difference between B2B and B2C. So here, some key things which we say is that B2B, it will be logic driven. It will focuses on time, money, and resources saved. That is mainly ROI driven, and it will be more promotion based. B2C, it will be very simple, easy messaging, which touches your heart and emotion, and it will be focusing on solving problems. Now, we have different types of content. So earlier we only had, written content when we started internet and all that. But now it has moved on to videos from blogs to blogs and videos. So there are 7 types of content marketing. One is blog. Then you have PR content, that is like making some announcements or thought leadership achievements, etc. Blog is more to do with perspective sharing, thought leadership, and sharing your expertise, etc. Then you have social media content marketing, wherein you have all these Facebook, Insta, etc., which are like casually to connect with your majorly audience at a peer-to-peer level. Then you have podcast content marketing. This is more to enhance your thought leadership. Then infographic, video content, and paid content marketing. So these are various content types, and when you plan your content marketing, you have to consider all these formats of content, and you have to decide on if it is a blog content, how many words, tone of your content writing, etc., and your like key messaging, etc. Even video content marketing, you need to decide on the duration of your video, thumbnail, and the description you will be giving to the video, etc. Otherwise, it will, how much ever good the story is, if you don't really carefully plan these aspects, it will just kill the content, and that story will never see light of the day. So that is why I keep stressing that content marketing is as important as content creation, because companies invest a lot of money on content creation. It is really sad to see them, shelved without any views or any impact. Here we have almost covered, like you need to decide the buyer persona. So sometimes, like when storytellers step into the game, we have often observed that there will be very tough, very serious CEOs, and they will try to demystify the CEO. So sometimes they can kind of get into that hat of being friendly, etc. But some are very rigid, and they are very their persona will be very serious and all that. So you should not try to make them over friendly and all that. There will be conflict in the persona, which will reflect in the messaging and how they deliver the message, and it may not work from a content marketing perspective. So it is very important to really match the persona of the stakeholders, persona of the company, and then fine tune it to cater to the desired audience as well. So it is always important to strike a fine balance there. So these are again a few steps of content marketing. First, like what is your goal of creating this content? It is very important. Then you have to set the KPIs and matrices right at the beginning. Otherwise, you will get into a very tough situation with your clients. So you have to define metrics, whether it is conversion, or is it leads, or is it just page views, etc. So those matrices has to be very clear. Only then you'll be able to even decide your budget. Then it is important to dive deep into your buyer persona as well as your audience persona to come up with the right content and the strategy. Then assess your current position, like where you stand and where you want to reach. So in order to achieve that milestone, you can make a checklist of things which you have to do. There are like content channels play a very critical role. Sometimes very popular content channel may go wrong for your content. So because that may not be very apt. For example, recently we did. So we keep on doing this medical awareness campaigns for our clients, and earlier we used to do very serious, content about heart and kidney, etc. Usually a doctor will be giving a session, and then we try to promote it through various channels. This time, what we, even last 2 years, we tried doing the same. So recently, we had this heart day, and we created a rap video focusing on the heart health. And we went, actually, it was done for Astro. So typically, we will feel that you'll be publishing it on their YouTube and some doctors or doctors network, etc. But what we did is that we featured a lot of prominent stars, and we pushed it through channels like Behind the Wood, etc., which are really musical and entertainment channels. So the video became viral because we pushed through those channels. Otherwise, in spite of spending a lot of money, the video would have gone unnoticed. So there was a lot of traction because we tried these alternative channels which had nothing to do with the health. Then I already talked about various content types. So there'll be B2B, B2C, and even under these B2B, B2C, there are a lot of content types, from written content to social media posters to reels and long form videos, short form content, and long form content, etc. Which you will get to know what to do based on your research and profiling. Then identify, allocate resources. Again, how many designers you want, and writers, and what kind of budget you have, and how to allocate it to different content creation and different channels. For example, when I talk to you about Heart Day campaign, apart from this video, we had done doctors interview, we had done some blogs about heart health, we had done other information videos and case study videos, etc. So we had a consolidated budget which was allocated to us. So it was important for us to decide on where we have to spend most of the money and which channels which we have to choose for promoting this, etc. So when I say content marketing, it is not even limited to digital. Now it is an integrated approach. So we have to even look at other channels like radio, hoarding, and print, because they also have their digital arms, and they also help us, push through their different channels. Then create a content calendar. So when you have, for a single campaign, you may come up with multiple content. So it is very, essential to set your content collector much in advance, so that you know how to push the content in a logical series. And also a lot has to do with the timing of your publishing this content. For example, if you're target audiences, homemakers, and probably you would choose between 11 and 3, etc. But if they are like CXOs, and you may choose between 7:30 to 9, because that is the time when they wake up and have coffee and they just spend some time on the social media, etc. And it's also important to really keep on analyzing whether the performance of these content at different on different channels and different timings, etc., so that you can keep on iterating. With a lot of tools available now, all these aspects are much easier than before, because you have a complete real-time visibility over the performance of the content, and you can also do a lot of benchmarking exercise to better the effectiveness of the content. Then you have to keep on measuring results, and it is always good to have the reports pulled out by your team on an alternative days, because then you don't, sometimes if you are reviewing it only after a week and all, you may come in for some big shocks, etc. So in order to avoid those shocks, you cannot keep on doing a daily or review on alternate days. So again, keep KPIs. You have a lot of benchmarking tools and key performance indicators, how your content is faring on SEO ranking, speed, and on different channels, etc. So you can keep on doing that, especially when you have this matrices defined with your client. It is very important to do your to measure your KPIs, review it, and keep on constantly trying to improve them. So these are some KPIs for marketing content. One, some people will be focusing more on revenue, so it will be sales, subscriptions, and downloads. And sometimes they'll be, like, for example, we work with a edtech platform, and they were not, though we came out with a lot of lead, so initially they were confused between leads and conversion. But later we had a very heated discussion about leads not converting, etc. So right at the beginning, we need to really set this expectation right and decide on the goal, whether it is going to be conversion or the lead, because lead has more to do with marketing effort, and conversion will be sales. So you have to really sit and decide with your client whether you have to focus on leads or conversion. Then there are like brand awareness and visibility. So it will be like number of visitors viewing your page, then number of times people have viewed your videos, or the duration of view, etc. So Google Analytics and Hotjar, there are so many tools which give you all these detailed insights, including from where the audience have come, how much time they have spent on your different content assets, etc. Then loyalty and retention, you would have seen a lot of these discount coupons and loyalty cards, etc. So that is one way of measuring the effectiveness of your content. This commitment and engagement, like the number of shares and likes you get, and retweets and blog, backlinks, etc., which will give you a significant snapshot on the effectiveness of your content. Then leads, these request form, email, and conversion rate, newsletter subscriptions, etc. So these are various matrices which we need to look into before we do our content strategy. As I said, there are a lot of tools available now. So SimilarWeb, Moz, Hotjar, BuzzSumo, what all these tools give you, they give you insight on your own content, how they are faring on the different parameters like SEO, or how effective they are on different channels. So you'll get very detailed insights on how your content is faring on different channels like YouTube, Insta, Facebook, etc. Also, you'll get analytics of the backlink. There are also a lot of benchmarking tools wherein you can actually compare your content with that of your competitors. So it will show how the competitors are faring against you in terms of all these matrices. So these are all available on the net. Maybe if anybody is interested, I can share some more details of these through email or something. So if somebody wants to delve deep into these analytics, etc., these tools will be very useful. So just winding up with a Capgemini story. So Capgemini, as you know, it's one of the leading consulting firm. They wanted to build on their brand awareness and reputation management. So when we talk about brand awareness and reputation management, we don't focus more on leads or conversion. Our goals will be visiting new unique visitors to their website, and also retaining the regular visitors. So, and then building brand awareness, providing knowledge and tech-driven solutions to the target audience. So strategy, storytelling format, on keeping your website relevant with new perspectives, case studies, and thought leadership stories, and messages from top leadership, etc. On trending topics like cloud technologies, AI, intelligence, big data, etc. Only then, only if you have relevant new contents on the website and your LinkedIn, etc., you will have more people to come and visit you. So result in 1 year duration, they had 1 million unique visitors. They attracted 100,000 new followers on LinkedIn page, and 1 0.8 million shares of the content. That's like a huge number there. I'm sure that they would have also spent a lot of money in pushing these content. So, I also wish to take you through one of real-time example from our own story. So we had done campaigns for KSFE Pravasi Chitti. So we had managed the entire launch and promotion of KSFE Pravasi Chitti in its initial days. So I just want to take you through how we plan a campaign. So first we tried to discuss with the client, and we finalized on our target audience. So it's like Gulf Malayalis, people from Kerala living in Middle East, Arab states of Persian Gulf, and we have all these countries listed. So instead of hitting all the markets, we first focused on Middle East market. So these were the countries which we came up with. Then we try to analyze the digital usage of Gulf Malayalis, where they are available more. So you have all these statistics which we have extracted by using different tools. So 100 million Google search and Facebook 36,000 and 100 million YouTube videos, etc. Then you have also country-wise statistics there on the usage of social media channel in Middle East. Then social media behavior, what kind of content are they viewing? So, 67% there loves music and movies, and then 46% community issues, 43 sports, and 34 politics, 14 religion. Rates of Malayalis. So it's deep diving into their demographics, their age, sex, passion, hobbies, finance behavior, participation in forums, their responsiveness to various social media platforms, etc. So here, mostly used platform is Facebook. So while we have the 68%, the 69% men engaged, you have only 31% women engaged on the Facebook. So these kind of analytics are very important for you to decide on your channels. Then here, characteristics of Gulf Malayalis, like finding, what their behavior pattern on various channels like Google, social media, etc. And various NRK association groups, which we can leverage, etc. Audience segmentation factors. So we have done a very serious analysis of the audience. So socio-demographic, geographic, behavior, and psychographic, etc.
I'm sorry for interrupting, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please wind up the section within 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so this, like we have identified some audience and action plan, various action plan on reaching out to those audience. Then competitor analysis. So all these banks and financial institutions which are popular and where NRIs park their money. We have extracted some competitor intelligence using various tools. Then performance analysis. KSFE visitor analysis. This is very key in deciding where we stand now and what miles we have to travel forward. So this is competitor analysis, which conclusion of our various analysis. So because we don't have much time to go deep into this, I just wanted to show you how typically we devise this content strategy and content marketing. So content creation is one part of it, but focusing on content marketing is also equally important. Quickly, anybody would have any questions? I have only 1 minute, so countdown has already started, so probably.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. This is the question answer session. If anybody has any question, please raise your hand. Okay, we have our first question. Ansi Verghese, could you please unmute?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm eager to know about your personal view on AI generated content and whether it helps brands develop more quality content in quick time.
Yeah. User generated content, right? You're talking about?
AI generated content.
Okay. Can I please ask a question again? Anna, she was then very clear. Can you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your personal view on AI generated content and whether it helps brands develop more quality content in quick time.
Okay. So AI is now integral part of all the platforms, Google and everything. So it is more automated and all that. So if you have various tools to do these integration, and you're getting all these reports based on AI and machine learning only. So, but you need to take these, you have to monitor these trends, and then you have to keep on iterating these content. So AI and machine learning driven platforms will only give you insights on content. I mentioned a lot of platforms, right? Tools, they're all based on AI and machine learning.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
MC, thank you. Next, we have Adria Santosh. Adria, could you please unmute?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, my question is, what are the key difference in content development for B2B and B2C companies?
Yeah, Adira, it's a very vast topic, but briefly, like as I told you, B2C, we are connecting with, we are trying to sell dreams, emotions, and aspirations. Trisha Kumar was talking a lot about that. So storytelling formats become important, etc. But B2B, we majorly focus on logic-driven content. So you have to create more of case studies and user demos and product tour, etc. So that will be mostly viewed by CXOs and decision makers who are actually very rigid and they have very short time, etc. So you need to really convince them about the results more than selling your aspirations, and those dramas don't sell on B2B platforms. But Adria, if we can connect over email or I'll leave my phone number with Anna. You can personally call and then I'll give you a little more insights on that. Because it's been, I started off with B2C and I, transitioned into B2B. And it was very difficult. I had a very difficult time in the beginning, but it was a very interesting journey. So probably I can kind of explain later, or I can communicate over an email.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Adra. The next question is from Mr. Jay Krishnan Nair. Sir, could you please unmute?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, actually, I just have a follow-up question regarding the first one regarding the AI. I thought the initial question was somewhat regarding, will the AI tools replace the traditional content writers in the near future? What's your say on that? If KK is available there, I would like to hear his opinion as well.
Yeah,
will the AI tool replace the content writers? I mean, the traditional content writers.
In my personal opinion, I don't see that happening. Because it has to be a right mix of, AI and machine learning will give you a lot of intelligence, but you really need to work on the emotions also, which can be only dealt by a very passionate content creator.
Yeah, actually, I do have a same opinion, but recently some of the big corporates from India is investing heavily on these type of AI platforms. So I think some big things will happen, some emotional in some tools like WordTune and all, some emotional questions are coming up. So that's why
Sir, Praveen Vijay is available. Is Praveen Vijay available there? Anna, Praveen is available, Anna?
Just a second, ma'am. I'll just get...
If Praveen is available, he'll be the best person to answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they work with a lot of like Praveen works with a company called Flytech. So they had started off as an agency and they converted into a technology platform. Now they're doing a lot of focusing a lot on artificial intelligence and machine learning to uncode CRM and customer journey, customer predictive analysis, etc. And they do this marketing automation. They have a CRM to do these marketing automation. So we'll have a series of campaigns already designed. So if you are saying yes to a campaign, then the next set of communication will come to you. If you're saying no, another communication will automatically be sent to you. So a lot of automation is happening, but I still feel that human touch is very important. Maybe Krishnamar can add to that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Praveen sir is not available at the moment.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the time.
So Anna,
Moving
if
on.
somebody has
Yes,
any
sir.
questions, so I'll leave my phone number and email with you, and I'll be happy to
Okay,
answer
ma'am.
any of.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank
Sure,
you.
sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot,
so
yeah.
much.
Najina, actually, can you
Yeah.
just say what's the CRM name that you mentioned about the automation?
No, this one I was particularly talking about. Praveen. Praveen has got I mean, they're catering only to banking and telecom. They've got a company called Flytech, and Flytech has come up with various technologies to automate these marketing campaigns. From in a telecom and banking, enterprise environment.
Got it.
So, for example, they'll access if I have downloaded Kareena Kapoor wallpaper, and if Kareena Kapoor song comes, they'll push this ringtone to me. So they do this, intelligence based on various parameters, around 50, and then they do this automation of campaigns. So, but I'll share with you a list of such, automated marketing automation tools.
Okay.
So,
Fine.
I'll take your email from Anna, and then I can share it with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to our next session. A digital strategist of the new age, Ms. Nikita Bhate, the business director of strategy at Chimpanzee Incorporation, is constantly growing, experimenting, and optimizing the communication planning process in the evolving digital ecosystem. With 7+ years of experience in the industry, she specializes in digital content strategy development, social media, data analysis, and overall strategy creation. She is qualified as an engineer in electronics and telecommunications, but the boom of advertising caught her attention very early. She has extensively worked on demand generation and brand strategy projects for brands such as Mahindra Tar, Disney India, Platinum Days of Love, Tata Play, Warner Media, Bitsom, Imami, DSM Global, Aditya Birla, Fullerton, India, Upstocks, etc. Inviting Ms. Nikita to deliver her thoughts. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for the introduction, Anna. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today I'm going to talk about trends and future of digital marketing in India. And we are going to start with how India has evolved in digital space and the connectivity that it has right now. So as you all know that small towns are getting increasingly technologically connected as well. Initially, when Facebook and Instagram first launched, it was first accessible only to metro cities and tier 1 cities, because metros are already part of the digital economy. But nowadays, towns and cities are also becoming increasingly connected through digital channels as a scope of digital marketing develops. Now, the primary platforms will vary from metro to tier 2 cities, but there are enough platforms to make sure that India is digitally connected in this era right now. Moving towards regional content and localization, we know that demand for regional content is increasing every day, just like the population of India. And engagement and content go parallel with each other. India is a land of diversity, a multilingual country. Don't be shocked if I say that more than 19,500 languages are spoken in India as a mother tongue in a fact. When one doesn't compromise with their outfits or say their food or their choices, so why with their language? Every user would like to like to see an ad that talks to them directly in their own regional language. So creating and distributing valuable regional and consistent content makes sure that it will attract and sustain a defined audience, leading to a profitable customer action for a longer term. Catering to internet users in tier 2 and tier 3 towns, even Google as a major platform, if you know, is now focusing to enlarge the usage of its products. Especially you must have seen this in Google Maps, where even Google Maps is talking to you in Hindi and multiple different languages. Same if you're using Google app and you're using the voice feature, you'll see that you'll get multiple languages that Google is going to talk to you in. Same goes with your Amazon and Apple Siri as well. So when you showcase your brand in a regional language, you attract more people, appealing to their emotional quotient, and consequently, you rule the market. Also, one of the major factor of the rise in regional content and making sure that there is enough content to talk to everyone in India and reach your right target audience, the major factor that is affecting this entire space is also the rise of OTT. So OTT has given a space where a lot of local actors and regional actors, regional influencers are being are shown on the screen, and people are liking the OTT space, right? So say someone like Pankaj Tripathi can also come on the screen and talk to you in Hindi and connect to a certain target audience in a much better way than say someone who's a popular celebrity, say like Ranveer Singh or Ranveer Kapoor, for a matter of fact. So that's why with so much content clutter that's happening in the market right now, how do you make sure that your content and your brand reaches to the right person that you are marketing to? So that's why in future, marketers and advertisers need to think on how to create that right content for the right target audience in their own language. One of the major factor also that you can make sure that you're reaching to right target audience is to make sure that you collaborate and you co-partner with relevant brand or relevant pages that are present on internet, especially when it comes with regional content. So for example, if your audience is HSM market, which is your Hindi speaking market, you make sure that you partner with platforms, say like the Lullen Top, which caters to maximum HSM market, or someone like Scoop Up Hindi, or say someone like Pink Villa Hindi, who has their Hindi speaking pages as well. Similarly, they have different pages as well. So Hotstar has a different Tamil page, whereas Pink Villa has a different South page. So brands and different pages are also making sure that they're coming up with different languages to cater to specific audience, and to make sure that the engagement factor and the engagement rate for their content is always higher than the other pages. Moving towards conversational marketing. Now you're reaching to your right audience, but how do you make a right conversation? How do you strike that conversation? You don't want your brand to be just one-sided where you're just talking, but in future, not in future, but especially right now, also brands like Swiggy, Dunzo, Zepto are encouraging two-way conversations. And that's how a consumer is going to, make sure that he's going to follow your page, or he's going to engage with your content. So conversational marketing is more than just one buzzword, right? It aims to create relationships with the consumer by building trust through conversations and by making the entire buying experience as smooth and as easy as possible. No one likes to watch ads that are very salesy or plain, the ads that just show you one line and directly just talk about their features. Like Ashwin and Najina already mentioned, storytelling is a huge concept. So whatever you say, even if that's one line or say two lines, or you're writing a blog, you're writing a paid ad, or your organic feed post that goes on, you need to make sure that it is not boring, it's not salesy, but there's a story behind that ad that goes, and make sure that you strike a conversation with your users at the same time. Just to give you a quick example, gone are those days where you could, sell real estate by just showing a building photo and mentioning that cost details on it. But now you want to have entire, say, plethora of ads shown at you, where it's virtual experience of you experiencing that real estate property. There are a lot of influencers who give you a walk tour for that particular property or for that particular flat. You have a lot of AI related filters right now, where you can imagine yourself living that entire experience of that building and that flat that is there for you. So basically, these are the formats that are working, and this is where the future is going. You cannot just show a static ad with one line and think that user is going to be interested, because there's so much content out there, and there's so many ads that are going to be thrown at you. How do you catch the attention? First, you need to catch their attention, and then you need to make sure that that particular target audience also engages with that particular content. So this kind of ad will not even attract the target audience to engage with it, let alone visit that website and lead generation. If I have to take example of one specific target audience, which are more active on major digital platforms, which is Gen Z, you'll see that Gen Z are more attracted to the brands to which they can relate to, right? Professional speech and heavy words may fail to grab their attention, as they may find it very unimaginative and monotonous. Hence, using more conversational tones, giving a purpose to your brand, selling a story may help, give a grip on their attention. Also, Gen Z likes to contribute and be part of the changes happening. That's why if you look at a lot of international brands, social experiment works for them. Before a brand launches a campaign, or maybe their campaign itself is a social experiment when they launch a particular product, or say a particular service that they're coming up with. Also, what we have seen is social commerce is also a big factor of the conversation marketing that is taking place, because you're already engaging with so much content on your Instagram. You're spending so much time on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, third-party platforms like MX Takatak, Trell, Chingari. How do you make sure that that interaction that you're gauging is going to a transaction? So social commerce is helping India move from that one interaction to a transaction, because you just don't want that engagement, but you also want ROI. You also want that impact to come out. So social commerce is already revolutionizing and democratizing the overall e-commerce landscape in India. If we leave the traditional players in market, which is your Amazon and Flipkart of world, we also have a lot of new platforms like Meesho, Kiko TV, who are doing so good in this particular digital space using social commerce as a feature. So what is social commerce? It's the use of social media platforms, the same like Facebook and Instagram, to market and sell products and services. Now, this type of selling model also lets customers complete purchases without leaving their social media apps. Example is Kiko TV. It initially started as a video sharing platform, and then they turned into a social commerce platform, again powered by AI, providing an interactive shopping experience to consumers through live video sharing. So this is something that is going to be a huge talk in our future, especially if we talk about the Indian market. This is already working in international markets. A lot of brands have started incorporating, and they already have a lot of success stories and case studies when it comes to social commerce. But India is still very new in this space, and not a lot of brands have captured this space. So this is definitely going to be a big talking point in couple of months and in future. Then a very important and very interesting topic is going to be the power of metaverse, because there are so many talks around metaverse and cryptocurrencies and NFTs, how brands can use NFTs, how brands can market themselves in metaverse. So metaverse is called next internet. You know why? Because metaverse creates a virtual space where virtual and augmented reality, they coexist with each other. A lot of international brands, not only brands, but also personalities, celebrities, and artists have captured this space on an international front. Just to give you best case study and an example is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is a very popular personality globally, and with the power of metaverse, he has bought his own land on Sandbox. Sandbox is a platform for gamers, so he has bought his own land on this Sandbox. And what you can do, what users like you and me, we can do is we can enter his home. You can see how his home looks like. He has a swimming pool, he has a huge car collection at his home. So you can experience all of that through virtual reality on that platform, entering his land. You can attend his concert. If you check his Instagram, he will give you times. He'll promote his events that he's going to go live, he's going to launch a video song at this particular time. You can party with him in that entire metaverse space. You can look at his car collection, you can meet his pets, and basically you can do a lot more than just interaction in that entire land that he has. This chart topping hip hop superstar Snoop Dogg has turned to virtual real estate in a push to populate the metaverse. Now imagine if you experience the same virtual world of your favorite celebrity or an artist who's an Indian celebrity. We have had multiple celebrities from India as well playing the role in metaverse, but that was more on a small scale. So say one of the example that is on the top of my mind is recently on a few months back on the Republic Day, Daler Mehendi also performed on Republic Day, but in metaverse. So a lot of these artists are coming up, and you will see a lot of advancements happening where India will also have their own land, and a lot of influencers, popular celebrities, etc., will also engage with you in metaverse. Also, the latest news that you must have read is soon after the 5G network launch, Indian internet users will adopt metaverse, AR, VR, and mixed reality technology. And a lot of reports from good sources say that more than 2 million gaming users has the potential for metaverse, and this will be seen in India on a larger scale. Talking about the future of this entire metaverse space, I can say that we have a blank canvas to explore limitless possibilities, experience multiple opportunities that a lot of marketers and advertisers have not hopped on it yet, and unleash your imagination, because there is no set rule when it comes to metaverse. Like your Facebook, Instagram, and Google, they have set guidelines, they have set algorithms, but in metaverse you can do anything and everything. That's just the start of how creative you can be when it comes to this space, which will give lot of freedom to advertisers and marketers and brands to explore beyond the traditional ways of marketing. To put it in one line, metaverse as we see is going to be like internet on steroids, right? It's going to create a huge bang in the entire way we are marketing right now. Also, one of the very important factor to consider is there will always be multiple metaverses. We can't imagine just one metaverse, or we can't say that there's going to be only one metaverse, but there are going to be multiple metaverses, each trying to solve a certain purpose, or say attract a certain set of users, because one metaverse will not be sufficient for entire India. Even as giants are developing metaverse at a very astronomical cost, others down the chain are developing products to overcome challenges, such as how do you do payments and transactions on metaverse? How do you make sure that this is very safe and you trust the gain of users, that you can do all the payments and transactions on metaverse? A lot of big banks have already started talking and internally developing products, so that when this metaverse in India booms, they already have the products necessary to use them. So this is something that is going to be very big in upcoming months and years. And definitely early birds will stand to get a clear and distinct advantage. The brand which moves faster the brand who already has the technical capabilities are going to get that first mover advantage to be in the space and to rule the space. As you already know about the future of influencer marketing in metaverse, we are already doing a lot of traditional regional influencer marketing using macro and micro influencers. But the major part is how do you use virtual influencer marketing in metaverse? So what are virtual influencers? Virtual influencers are CGI rendered characters who may be either completely fictional or an avatar controlled by real person in real time. Again, internationally, this is a big thing, that is a lot of meta influencers are already present. In fact, there are a lot of awards also in this category, say that the best internet virtual person award goes to XYZ. So this is already happening outside India. In India, if you have heard of Kira, who's already become famous right now since the past couple of months, she's a 21-year-old self-proclaimed model and a virtual influencer. She regularly posts to her 188,000 Instagram followers right now, and a major talking point is about self-love and other important issues. But the more you linger, the perhaps longer than a minute, it strikes you that she isn't real when you visit her feed. And this is that intrigue. This intrigue is what draws users to virtual influencers every day, because this is a new space. There's a lot of curiosity, and this is not something that everyone is doing. So if I have to give you an example of what she did for a brand, she launched a collection for boat recently, and she also became the first virtual influencer to grace the digital cover of Travel Plus Leisure magazine. So she's already getting a lot of attention right now, and a lot of brands are waiting to collaborate with her. So with virtual influencers in Web3 like Kira, we can tell stories that might have never been possible before. So this is how the future of influencer marketing in Metaverse is also going to be changing with the current trends that are going on. I don't have much time to talk, so I'm going to conclude with my thoughts on this topic is that with more advertising spaces, tools and changes in best practices, digital marketing solutions will continue to propel businesses to step up their competitive drive in the market, because you need to make sure that you are hands-on with the current marketing trends that are happening. And that's the beauty of this space, because there's so much technology and so many new options coming in for marketers and advertisers. Is very important for us to it's about adapting and delivering tailor-made marketing strategies to keep your online presence flowing. Yes, that's it from my end. I'm happy to answer questions if you have.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We have a question answer session. Anybody who would like to ask any questions, please raise your hand. Okay, we have Aditya Rao. Aditya Rao, could you please unmute?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I am Aditya Rao.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am. My question is, how can digital marketing be fused in Metaverse to gain more exposure and sales?
Okay. So it depends on industry to industry. Like I just mentioned, the possibilities and opportunities for any brand as per their objective can be, there's so many opportunities, right? So for example, if I have to give you a real estate example, there's a new project that is coming in Mumbai, and you want to put that real estate land on, say, Metaverse. So you put that on Metaverse. There are a lot of partners that will help you buy that land and for you to set up that entire Metaverse thing. And you can have multiple features. So say you can create a funnel starting with brand awareness. So you can invite your target audience to come on that land, come on your Metaverse, and experience how the entire property is going to look like. Small things, amenities of that real estate. So they can go and see the swimming pool, they can create their own avatar, and they can see how the gym of that particular society looks like. Say then they need to talk to, they want to make an inquiry because they want to buy a flat in that particular project. So they can also talk to a broker on that Metaverse space, have that live interaction on that space. And also you can make a payment on that space. You can buy a space in Metaverse, and also you can buy a space in physical property. So you can also have that option. So like Krishna Kumar said earlier in his first session, that one of his friends gave him that option to buy a land on the moon. The same parallel works over here. You can buy a land on Metaverse, or you can also buy that land on Metaverse, but you can get a physical land in that space. So there are a lot of opportunities, right from lead generation to brand awareness. You can choose your KPI and you can add those features on that Metaverse land. This is just one example that I gave you about real estate, but imagine the same happening in the fashion industry. You can launch a collection. A lot of brands are already doing fashion shows and ramp walk in metaverse. You can buy products in the metaverse. You can create your avatars and buy accessories for your avatars. Like Snoop Dogg has this lot of collections that you can buy using your NFTs. And the best part is now Instagram in upcoming few months in India is also going to allow you to connect your NFT wallets to the account. So you can show off on your Instagram feed that, I own this NFT as well. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Aditya. Next, we have Ms. Najina Vijayan. Ma'am, could you please
Hi,
unmute?
Nikita.
Hi, Najina.
Nikita, it was a very insightful session, and I just wanted to know, would you have to add, AR, VR specialists and developers if you have to leverage the potential of metaverse, or do they have inbuilt tools, which can take care of all that?
Right. So you can definitely have your own resources who can build these products for you. But that would come at a very high cost, and the resources are very limited in India as of now who could build that. So the best thing to do as of now in current space is to partner with agencies who specialize in metaverse creation. So they already have their resources. They've already worked for brands. We as at Chimpanzee Inc., we partner with a lot of such brands. To give you an example, Digify NFT is one of the best partner. We work with them a lot in pitching clients, as well as to explore the possibilities that we can help clients with to gain maximum ROI and impact. So leveraging someone who already knows the space, who already has done a lot of things, would make more sense right now as an agency. But in future, say if you want to build a separate W3 resource or a separate W3 vertical right from the scratch, then it makes more sense to hire such specialists in this space who understands metaverse and also understands NFTs, blockchain and cryptocurrency, because it all comes together when creating such a scenario. So it will make more sense to hire such resources and build your own vertical who would cater to these services for your clients.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Aarti Jaykumar. Could you please unmute?
Hi, Aarti.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to ask you that, how can a digital marketer convince a management to get a higher budget? Like, are there any tools available for budget planning or something?
So ideally, see, there are two things when you are pitching to a client or you're talking to a higher management. Say client has given you a brief. You give your own budget to you give your own budget and plan, and ask client or the management what is the goal. Say if your client or your management says that my goal is to get 1 million video views for this particular campaign, then you suggest a budget accordingly. That's the first ideal way to approach any brand or campaign. But say in other lot of our Indian scenarios, we get clients where they have a set marketing budget. So if client tells you that I only have, say, 2 lakh rupees, so then you go back, you do your homework and you do your campaign planning and include a strategy that what maximum impact can you bring to that client in that 2 lakh rupees. And then you tell that client that, say, in 2 lakh rupees, I can only get you 50,000 views. But if you spend, say, more 1 lakh rupees, I can give you 1 million views. So that's how you can negotiate with your management as well as the client. But it purely depends on the set marketing budget set by a brand. So there's not a lot of room for you to negotiate on that part. But as a good advertiser, you can make sure that you give them that maximum impact or ROI in that set budget. So you need to be very thorough with your analysis and campaign planning. There are a lot of tools available when it comes to project planning and budget planning. Definitely you can take help of Google AdWords to understand what is the bid rates going on, and how much bidding for a particular keyword that you need to do. Same, you have SEMrush sort of platforms also, which give you an entire landscape of what competitors are doing and what you have to do in order to make sure that you are a step ahead of your competitors.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am. Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Arati. Ms. Najina, do you have another question? Seems like you have raised your hand. Okay. Okay, I think that's it, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was very insightful. It was very informative, and we had a lot of fun hearing you talk.
Thank you, Anna. It was nice talking to you. Thank you
Thank
for
you, ma'am.
inviting us today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. By that, we are coming to the end of our session. On behalf of the entire participants, may I take this opportunity to express heartfelt thanks to all our speakers. I would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the various brands and PR agencies for all the support extended to us to organize this event. I take this opportunity to express heartfelt thanks to people from the industry, accommodations from various reputed institutions across the country, and the students from various institutes. I would like to thank all the members of Maxwell community, team members of PIM, and all the participants for the extended support. A lot of hands have been working hard on the success of this event, and definitely wouldn't have been possible without the support extended by the members of our passionate in marketing family. Thank you for all the support and cooperation. Thanks to one and all again. Thank you.